I was reaching for the laundry basket when I heard it. The apartment's walls weren't thick. Neither were the doors. And the one leading to the balcony, half closed, let through more than sunlight. I paused. A glass of water in one hand, socks in the other, trying not to believe the sentence I'd just heard. "He's fine, I guess. I mean, he's boring in bed." It was Ashley's voice, my wife. Relaxed? Amused. No guilt in the tone. No hesitation. The woman she was talking to, Rachel, laughed. A short, sharp bark. I heard the clink of glasses. Probably wine. Pinot Noir if Ashley hadn't changed her routine. I didn't move. I set the glass down silently on the kitchen counter, every inch of me suddenly hollow. The words weren't even angry. That's what hit hardest. They were tossed out like a weather report. Just a fact. Just something girlfriends say over rose. I stepped back. Quiet. Controlled. I moved down the hallway, closed the bedroom door behind me, and sat on the edge of the bed. My heartbeat wasn't fast. It was slow. Methodical. Like I was back in surgery, monitoring vitals on a screen. Except this time, the life on the line was mine. Let me rewind. My name is Travis Wolfe. I'm 36. An orthopedic surgeon at a private clinic in Denver. I'd been married to Ashley for 6 years. No kids, not for lack of trying. Our schedules made that difficult, and somewhere along the way, we stopped pushing. She's 34, works in HR for a finance firm downtown. Smart, driven, magnetic. People fall into orbit around her. I did too. We met on a ski trip in Breckenridge. She was with a group of friends, I was with my brother. One night, I sat across from her at a long communal dinner table, and she asked if I believed in regret. The conversation lasted 3 hours. I never answered the question. We married 2 years later. I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but solid. We fought like anyone else, sure. But Ashley always had a way of making things feel exciting. Charged. Even the arguments. She'd pull me in with heat, kiss me mid-sentence. That kind of chaos that makes you feel chosen. Until now. The balcony door slid open. I heard footsteps, the creak of Rachel's boots, the low hum of Ashley's voice fading as they made their way toward the front door. I stayed still. They left without seeing me. I waited 5 minutes before getting up. I walked into the bathroom, stared at myself in the mirror. Same face. Same eyes. But something was different now. Something subtle had shifted behind the eyes. Like a switch had been flipped. It wasn't the insult. Not really. It was the casual way she said it. That's when I knew, this wasn't just a rough patch. This was detachment. Distance wrapped in routine. A woman playing house with a man she no longer respected. I checked her phone that night. I waited until she was asleep. Face down, arms above her head, hair spilling across her pillow. The phone was under her side of the bed, charging. No passcode. She never used one, said she hated the extra step. I opened messages. Rachel was at the top. I scrolled. That conversation had gone deeper than I thought. Ashley. He's sweet. Predictable. Like a golden retriever in Scrubs. Rachel. But you're not getting off. Ashley. LOL no. Haven't in. I don't even know. It's not his fault. He's just not that guy. My stomach didn't turn. My hands didn't shake. I just kept scrolling. Down to a message from a name I didn't recognize. Logan. It was brief. No hearts. No suggestive emojis. Just, Logan. Friday 8? Ashley. Can't wait. I put the phone back exactly how I found it. I didn't confront her. Didn't ask questions. Because that's not who I am. I'm methodical. And if Ashley wanted excitement, she'd get it. Just not the kind she was expecting. The first time I met Rachel, I knew she didn't like me. Not in an overt way. She smiled, shook my hand, complimented the wine I brought. But behind the eyes there was a flicker, subtle, sharp. Like she'd already decided who I was, and wasn't interested in changing her mind. Rachel and Ashley had been friends since college. Sorority sisters. Bonded over vodka and trauma. Rachel worked in PR and wore her job like a second skin, all posture, all angles. She never married, never stayed with one guy more than a year, and treated other people's relationships like slow-moving car crashes she couldn't wait to dissect. Still, I never gave her a reason to hate me. I was polite, attentive, generous. I remembered her birthday, picked up the tab when we all went out. But I wasn't what she wanted for Ashley. Not wild enough. Not ruthless enough. Definitely not. Fun in bed, if recent conversations were any indication. After reading Ashley's messages, I spent 2 days pretending nothing had changed. We ate dinner together, watched a Netflix docuseries she picked, and even made out for a few minutes on the couch before she said she had an early meeting and went to bed. I stayed behind, pretending to watch the screen. The images blurred. I was working a Saturday shift when I got the text. Unknown number. No name. Video. 117. No caption. No context. I tapped it open, headphones in. What I saw made me sit back in my chair, slowly, and breathe through my nose like I'd just been slapped. Rachel. Naked. Facing the camera. Her mouth forming my name. Travis, she said, almost laughing. You're not boring. She's just bored. I didn't watch the rest. I didn't need to. I deleted the video, checked the number, and cross-referenced it with Ashley's phone backup on our shared iCloud. It was Rachel's. No burner. No attempt to hide. The message wasn't a come on. It was a fracture. A crack between them. Something had shifted, or maybe it had always been there. That night, I walked past Ashley brushing her teeth. She had a towel wrapped around her and didn't look up as I passed. I wanted to ask 100 questions, but I didn't. I just memorized her expression. Neutral. Routine. The next day, Rachel texted again. Rachel. You're not stupid. I figured you knew. She talks about Logan like he's a drug. She's going to blow it all up, Travis. I didn't respond. I archived the message, flagged the number, saved the video to an encrypted USB drive I kept in my office safe. I didn't want revenge. Not yet. I wanted clarity. And Rachel, intentionally or not, had given me a crack of light. So I invited her to coffee. Neutral territory. Sunday morning. A boutique cafe Ashley hated. Rachel showed up 10 minutes late, sunglasses on, hair tied in a high, careless knot. She sat down, sipped her iced latte, and didn't say a word. I waited. Then finally asked, "Why send me that?" She tilted her head. "Why not? You're her best friend." Rachel shrugged. "We haven't been friends in a long time. Ashley plays people. Always has. I just stopped caring enough to pretend." Silence settled between us like dust. She continued, "She's not going to stop with Logan. There'll be another. There always is." I looked at her. "What do you want from me?" Rachel leaned forward, smiled faintly. "Nothing. Just thought you should know you're not the problem. She is." Then she stood, walked out, and left me with a cooling cup of black coffee and a head full of static. I sat there for another 10 minutes. Then opened my phone and started typing Logan's full name into search. There it was. Logan Carr, 39. Works in marketing. Divorced once. 2 kids. Lives in a sleek condo 20 minutes east. No social media, but his company profile was polished and confident. A smug little smirk in a tailored jacket. I memorized the address. Then I made a decision. Not to confront. To observe. Let her keep playing. Let them both think I was asleep. Because the quiet man in the corner? He's the one they never see coming. Ashley thought she was clever. She kept her phone face down. She took long showers with the door locked. She claimed meetings on weekends, dressed a little too sharply for team strategy calls. I didn't challenge any of it. Instead, I started keeping records. Everything I needed came from silence. Quiet days when she left early, nights when she came home late. I tracked it all: dates, times, outfits, moods. The small stuff no one notices until they stitch it together like thread through bone. I moved cash into a separate account under a shell LLC I'd quietly set up 2 years back, originally meant for a side investment. I wasn't going to burn down my life for vengeance, but I wasn't going to let her walk away clean either. The funny thing about betrayal, once you see it, you start recognizing its fingerprints everywhere. Every pause in her voice. Every slight deflection. And all of it pointed toward Logan. Logan Carr. I'd learned a lot about him. He lived in a penthouse rental on the 6th floor of a mid-tier luxury complex. Drove a leased Audi Q8. Paid child support but not alimony. Judging by the late-night Venmo charges and restaurant check-ins I found through a scraped LinkedIn connection, he was living well beyond his actual income. Classic debt juggler. Charming. Flashy. Dangerous, not because of what he could do, but because of what he couldn't sustain. Ashley had always chased energy. Movement. People with loud laughter and shiny attention spans. Logan was a perfect dopamine hit. Fast, dumb, doomed. On Friday, I told her I had a medical conference in Boulder. She didn't ask for details. Didn't even look up from her email. Drive safe, she mumbled. Don't forget your badge this time. I kissed the top of her head and left. I didn't go to Boulder. I went to Logan's building. I parked across the street. Sat in the car. Watched. Waited. At 6:47 p.m., Ashley arrived. Hair curled. Dark jeans. Heels I hadn't seen in over a year. She buzzed in. He answered. I didn't follow her in. I didn't need to. Instead, I called an old friend from med school, Julian, who now ran a high-end private investigation firm. I wired him $2,000 as a deposit. Told him exactly what I needed. Discreet surveillance. I want to know how often, how long, and who else. Julian didn't ask questions. You'll have footage and timestamps by Monday, he said. That night I went back home. Ashley wouldn't return until late, if at all. I made dinner. Ate alone. Washed the dishes. Then sat in our shared home office and opened my laptop. I started writing my letter of resignation. Not from the hospital. From the marriage. But I wasn't going to send it yet. Because resignation isn't surrender. It's strategy. And there was one more thing I needed before I pulled the pin. Evidence was easy. But leverage? Leverage had to be built. Ashley came home Sunday evening. Hair a little damp from a spa day. Makeup freshly wiped but not washed. She was wearing a sweatshirt from college she hadn't touched in months, soft, nostalgic camouflage. I was sitting on the couch when she walked in. No TV, no music, no lights. Just silence and me, scrolling through an old photo album on my tablet. A trip we took to Tulum 3 years ago. Beaches. Cocktails. Sunburns. Smiles that looked real at the time. She flinched when she saw what was on the screen. God, we look like babies, she said, dropping her keys. Her tone was breezy, but her eyes were already calculating. Remember that trip? I nodded. Yeah. You almost drowned trying to body surf. She laughed too loud. I was fine. You were the one who panicked. I didn't correct her. Let her revise it. Let her scrub the memory clean. She crossed the room, kissed me on the cheek, then moved toward the bedroom. I watched her walk away. Watched the way her hand hovered near her phone as she passed the charger. At 11:23 p.m., while she was in the shower, a notification lit up her screen. Logan. You're still wearing it, aren't you? I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to anymore. Julian had access to her call logs, her location history, even the camera on her backup iPad, which she'd synced out of convenience and forgotten about entirely. I was getting everything in real time now, angles even she didn't know existed. She came out of the bathroom 20 minutes later, wrapped in a robe, smelling like eucalyptus. I was in bed, pretending to read. She curled up beside me. "What are you reading?" I held up the cover. "Thinking, Fast and Slow. Daniel Kahneman." She raised an eyebrow. "Still trying to fix the world?" I smiled thinly. "Trying to understand it." She fell asleep quickly, her breath soft and shallow. I didn't sleep. Instead, I checked the footage Julian had sent. Time-stamped, annotated. Ashley entering Logan's building. Elevator ride. The door opening on the 6th floor. Then, the moment she steps inside. He greets her. But there's someone else. A woman. Late 20s. Brunette. Wearing Logan's hoodie. She doesn't flinch when Ashley enters. In fact, she greets her. No tension. No confusion. They know each other. That was the first twist. Ashley wasn't just sleeping with Logan. She was part of a loop. A circuit. I watched the three of them disappear into the apartment. The door shut. The camera held for 2 minutes. No movement. Then Julian cut the feed. The woman's name was Zoe. I'd learned that the next day. But what mattered was this. Ashley hadn't lied to protect me. She'd lied to protect a secret bigger than infidelity. I was no longer dealing with a cheating wife. I was dealing with a compartmentalized double life. The kind that unravels everything it touches. Ashley sat across from me at breakfast the next morning, swirling yogurt with the back of her spoon like it owed her an apology. The air between us was tight. Measured. She asked how the conference in Boulder went. I said it was fine. Long, boring. She didn't press. I watched her carefully, how she avoided eye contact, how her phone stayed angled away from the table, screen brightness turned all the way down. She was trying not to trip over lies, but the effort made her clumsy in other places. Her sentences were too tidy. Her laughter a beat too fast. The phone buzzed once, then twice. She ignored it. "Work stuff," she said without looking. I nodded. "Mondays are brutal." She stood, rinsed her bowl, kissed the top of my head, and left. I waited until I heard the elevator chime before I pulled out my own phone and texted Julian. "Me. Anything on Zoe?" He replied in under a minute. Julian. Full name, Zoe Larrabee. Age 28. Interior design assistant. Used to work for Carr's ex-wife. Fired last year. Guess who gave her a consulting job after that? I didn't need to guess. Julian continued. Julian. Found this. Watched to the end. It was a short clip from a private Instagram story, Zoe and Ashley clinking wine glasses in Logan's apartment. Zoe says, "To breaking rules," and Ashley laughs, "To not getting caught." They toast. End clip. I stared at the image of them paused mid-cheer. Two women, confident and careless. Not caught, not even close. Ashley had always hated being boring. She used to say stability was a disguise people wore before they started dying inside. Now I saw what she meant. This wasn't about love. Not about Logan. Not even about sex. This was Ashley trying to feel anything. I didn't flinch. I didn't rage. I printed the photo. Put it in a plain white envelope. No note. No signature. Then I mailed it, not to Ashley. To Logan's ex-wife. It took me less than 5 minutes to find her. Amanda Carr, primary custodian of their 2 kids. PTA vice chair. Her address listed on a public county directory for school district mailings. I wanted her to know. Not because I cared about her life. But because every structure Ashley had built outside our marriage, every secret corner she thought was safe, needed pressure applied. Real pressure. Domestic. Legal. I wanted Logan busy with problems he couldn't seduce his way out of. That night I played my role. Dinner. Wine. Laughter. Ashley leaned into me on the couch and said we should take a weekend trip. Somewhere warm, she said. Just the two of us. We need a reset. I looked at her for a long time before nodding. Sure. Let's plan something. She kissed me slow. Intentional. Maybe she thought she was reeling me back in. What she didn't know, I'd already bought a one-way ticket. Not for me. For her. It started with a hesitation. She was texting at the kitchen island, one sock on, coffee cooling beside her. I walked in, and for a fraction of a second, less than a blink, her body stiffened. The screen tilted. The message cleared. Most people wouldn't notice. I did. Because Ashley wasn't careless. She was deliberate. Her secrets were lined up like teeth in a zipper, clean, controlled. That flicker? That was panic pretending not to be. Morning, I said. She smiled too fast. Hey. Just chatting with Rachel. I nodded slowly. Tell her I said hi. Ashley froze again, this time not in her face, but in her hands. Her grip on the mug adjusted slightly. A pause. A recalibration. Rachel. I hadn't spoken to Rachel since the cafe. But she had sent another text. Rachel. She knows something's off. She's pulling away. If you're gonna move, don't wait too long. I didn't respond. Instead, I watched Ashley that week with surgical precision. She checked the peephole before answering the door. She muted her phone instead of silencing it. She asked questions she hadn't asked in months. What time are you home tonight? Are you still going to the gym on Tuesdays? Little details, fishing lines disguised as care. She wasn't trying to reconnect. She was trying to confirm whether I was where I said I'd be. And she was moving faster with Logan. Julian sent me footage of them meeting in the parking garage behind Logan's condo. This time, there was no pretense. She climbed straight into his car. They sat there for 20 minutes. Talking. Kissing. Then she got out. Alone. The next day, she picked a fight. Not a loud one, a small, circular one. Something about me forgetting to move the laundry. She poked, prodded, escalated it into a minor argument. Then stormed off to the gym. To clear her head. She wanted a reason to leave. One I wouldn't question. I gave her the space. 3 hours later she came back. Hair wet. Eyes glassy. She smelled like hotel soap. You okay? I asked. She nodded. I just needed air. I let it hang. That night Rachel called me. It was short. Are you going to tell her you know? She asked. Eventually. She's unraveling, Travis. She's not who she was 3 months ago. No, I said. She's who she's always been. I'm just seeing it now. Rachel was quiet for a beat. Be careful. She's starting to lie like she believes herself. I thanked her. Hung up. I knew what that meant. The gaslighting phase was next. She'd flip it. Start implying I was distant. That I was distracted. She'd plant the seeds that maybe I was the one checking out, deflect, invert, spin. And when that didn't work, she'd try to confess, just enough to control the fallout. I was ready. Because I wasn't collecting evidence anymore. I was building a weapon. One she wouldn't see coming. She came to bed late that night. Hair towel dried, skin raw from a too-hot shower. I was reading, same as always, something about the history of anesthetics. I wasn't really absorbing any of it. Ashley stood in the doorway longer than she needed to. Watching me. I didn't look up. Finally she said, Do you think we're okay? I marked my page and closed the book. Not abruptly, slowly, calmly. What do you mean? She crossed the room, slid into the sheets beside me. Her feet were cold against my leg. I don't know. We've just been off. You've been quiet. I've been tired. It feels like we're roommates sometimes. Her voice was soft, full of practiced vulnerability. She reached out, placed a hand on my chest like she was checking for signs of life. I miss us. It was the opening move. The emotional sleight of hand. I nodded, kept my tone measured. Work's been heavy. I figured you were overwhelmed too. She smiled, a little too grateful. Like she'd been hoping I'd take the bait. Let her pivot the cause back onto something external. Something safe. She kissed my shoulder. Maybe we should take that trip. Yeah, I said. Let's plan it. She exhaled into my neck, a sigh that was supposed to feel intimate, but felt rehearsed. A sound she'd probably made with Logan. Maybe even Zoe. As she drifted off, I stayed awake. I wasn't angry. I was fascinated. Because what Ashley was doing wasn't a confession. It was a prelude. A test to see if she still had control. She didn't want to come clean. She wanted to stage manage the story before the story broke itself. Julian had confirmed what I already suspected earlier that day. Logan had received a letter from his ex-wife's lawyer. An official warning? Something about exposure to inappropriate individuals. And custodial review. Logan's kids were now under a temporary visitation hold. He was unraveling. And Ashley didn't know it yet. The next morning, she left a note on the counter. A post-it in her handwriting. Let's talk tonight. I want to be honest. I stared at the words. She wasn't ready to confess. She was preparing to cure it. To admit enough to look brave. But not enough to lose anything important. She still thought she had time. She still thought she was managing this. That night, she came home with wine. Cooked pasta. Set the table with candles, the kind of thing she used to do on anniversaries. We ate. Talked. Laughed even. Then she leaned forward, eyes soft, and said, "There's something I need to tell you. I haven't been fair to you lately. I've been distant. And I've had thoughts. About other people. I haven't acted on them, but I've felt the pull. I'm sorry." She looked relieved. Like someone who just flushed the drugs before the cops knocked. I nodded. "Thank you for telling me." She looked surprised I didn't ask more. But I wasn't surprised. Because I already had what I needed. The next phase wasn't about doubt. It was about precision. I waited 3 days. 3 full days of silence. I didn't ask follow-up questions. I didn't reference her half-confession. I didn't bring up the talk at all. Ashley got tense. She tried to act relaxed, but her energy shifted. She lingered near me more. Started asking more detailed questions about my schedule. She suggested we cook together. Mentioned therapy. Soft reinforcements to make sure I wasn't drifting away. But she was the one floating. Arms spread wide, waiting for someone to pull her back. I let her drift. And then, on Friday night, I left my laptop open on the desk. It was subtle, a screen angle just enough to draw attention. On it, a single folder. Ashley, June footage. She noticed. I heard the small intake of breath when she passed the door. I heard her pause. Then walk away without saying anything. An hour later, I checked the laptop. The folder had been opened. Nothing had been moved or deleted, but it had been viewed. Timestamps confirmed it. She didn't mention it. That was the first crack. The folder contained exactly what she needed to see. Logan and Ashley, together in his car. The woman, Zoe, greeting Ashley at the apartment door. The clip from the Instagram story. To breaking rules. No commentary. No edits. Just raw footage. The truth, plain and quiet. I added nothing else. Because the goal wasn't confrontation. It was infection. Let it live inside her. Let it rot from the inside. Let her start questioning who knew what, and when. The next day, Rachel texted me again. Rachel. She's spiraling. Asked me what I knew. She's afraid. She should be. I didn't reply. Ashley avoided eye contact all morning. Her smile too rehearsed. Her hands too still. I asked casually, "You okay?" She hesitated. "Yeah." "Why?" "You're quiet." She forced a laugh. "Just tired." "Weird dreams." "About?" She blinked. "Us." I nodded. Yeah. Me too. That night, I sent a different version of the folder to someone else. Ashley's boss. Not the full file. Just a single photo, her and Logan in the garage, timestamped during office hours. Subject line: misuse of corporate time. No name. No return address. Just the first tremor. Let her world start to fracture. Not from impact. From pressure. She called me babe, again. She hadn't used that word in months, maybe longer. It landed like a false memory. Something she thought might still work. Like saying a password that used to open a door. That morning, her routine was off. She lingered in the bathroom too long. Rearranged kitchen drawers that didn't need rearranging. Asked me what time I'd be home, twice. She was stalling. Waiting for me to bring up the folder. I didn't. She left for work in a crisp pantsuit she hadn't worn since before COVID. Not a wrinkle on it. Full makeup. Like she was dressing for a verdict. I watched her from the window as she got into her car. Hands frozen on the wheel. Then she drove off. An hour later, Julian sent me a message. Julian. She went to Logan's office. Parked around back. Camera caught everything. They argued. He attached a clip. Ashley in Logan's face, voice raised, waving her phone. Logan leaned back, arms crossed, defensive. She looked like someone trying to bury a live wire. She thought he leaked the footage. That meant she hadn't even considered I might be behind it. She still thought I was sleeping. That night, she came home early. Brought takeout. Thai, my favorite. She set it on the table, smiling like she hadn't screamed at a man in a parking lot 5 hours ago. I figured we could use something easy tonight. I nodded. Thanks. We ate in silence. Then she said, Did you see something on my computer? I looked up. No. Why? I don't know. I thought maybe something came up. Like what? She hesitated. I don't know. Work stuff. She was sweating. Not visibly, but her water glass had 3 refills in under 10 minutes. I let the silence stretch. Then said, Rachel texted me today. Ashley blinked. Oh? She said you asked her if I'd said anything? About us. Ashley laughed, soft and wrong. No. I mean, I might have mentioned something. Just girl talk. I didn't mean. I held up a hand. It's okay. That shut her down. Her face stiffened. Not in guilt, in confusion. She didn't know what game I was playing. She was off balance, fumbling. And then she slipped. She said, You know I would never actually do anything to hurt you, right? Actually. A word that doesn't belong unless it's hiding something worse. That's when I saw it. The realization flashed across her eyes, that she'd said too much. That, actually, wasn't invisible. I smiled. I know, I said. She left the table early that night. Didn't finish her food. Said she had calls. I didn't follow. I walked into the study. Opened a new file. Labeled it slips. I listed every phrase. Every contradiction. Every tell. Because her house of lies was already burning. I was just documenting the smoke patterns. The next morning, she cried. I walked into the living room and found her on the couch, wrapped in a throw blanket she never used, eyes red and glassy. The tissue box beside her was barely touched. She looked up when I entered. Not startled, expectant. Like she'd rehearsed the scene. I had a panic attack last night, she said. I didn't want to wake you. I sat down, careful. Neutral. What happened? Her voice cracked in all the right places. I don't know. Everything's been so tense. Work is a mess. I feel like I'm losing control of everything. She reached for my hand, gently, like it was a test balloon for how much she could still lift from me. I just want to feel safe again. That's when I knew she wasn't trying to confess. She was trying to preempt. A subtle shift, turn the story before I could tell it. If she played the overwhelmed wife now, whatever came next would look like a breakdown, not betrayal. It was a bluff. A defense mechanism. And like all bad poker players, she overplayed her hand. That afternoon, Julian called. "Check your inbox," he said. "You've got what you need." Inside were two things. A high-resolution shot of Ashley and Logan entering a short-term rental together, midweek, midday, during build work hours. A text string from Zoe's old phone, extracted through Cloud Sync. Ashley to Zoe, 2 months ago. Ashley. Travis is too careful. If I file, he'll keep everything locked up. I need him to screw up first. Or think I'm the one who's hurting. Zoe. So spin it. Make him the ghost. I read it twice. Then I forwarded the message thread and photo to my attorney with a single note. Custody block plus asset shield. Begin today. We didn't have kids, but we did have investments. Retirement accounts. Real estate in escrow. And a prenup with behavioral clauses that were now, officially, violated. Ashley was in the kitchen when I came out of the study. She turned eyes hopeful. "Do you want to talk?" I looked at her like I hadn't seen her in years. Like I was looking through her. "Not yet," I said. She swallowed hard. "Okay." She thought she still had time. That night, Rachel texted again. "Rachel. She's losing grip. She asked me if you were having an affair." I stared at the screen. Then typed. "Me. Tell her yes. Tell her it's someone from work. Tell her I'm happy." Rachel. "Why?" "Me. Because if she thinks she's lost me, she'll panic. And people in panic forget to cover their tracks." It came through at 3:14 a.m. Julian's final file drop. Encrypted. Timestamped. Labeled. May 26th, internal audio/apartment unit 608. He placed a directional mic near Logan's rental weeks earlier. Legal, thanks to consent from the building owner, who happened to be Julian's client. I sat in the dark, alone, headphones on, listening to what would end it. Ashley's voice came first, sharp, low. "I'm serious, Logan. He's pulling away. He's got something planned." "Logan, then why are you still sleeping next to him?" A pause. "Ashley, because if he leaves before I do, I lose the split. The prenup's garbage if I file first, but if he does, and if I can show he's cheating." "Logan, you really think he is?" "Ashley, I don't care. I'll make it look like he is." She laughed. Not hysterical. Not cruel. Calm. Casual. Practiced. I saved the file twice. One on the secure drive. One on a physical SD card that I sealed in a labeled envelope. Custodial evidence. Emergency use only. I slept for 3 hours. At 8:05 a.m., I called my attorney and greenlit the motion. Separation activation. Financial freeze. All shared accounts locked pending review. By 10 a.m., Ashley's bank app would tell her her cards were temporarily restricted. At 10:03 a.m., she called me. I didn't answer. At 10:15, she sent a text. "Ashley, are you okay? I'm getting error messages from the bank." I let it sit. At 11:40 a.m., I forwarded her the audio file. No message. No explanation. 3 minutes later, the missed call. Then another. Then another. By noon, I had 32 messages from her. They ranged from confusion to fear to pure fury. I replied with a single sentence. "You've already said everything that matters." Silence followed. That evening, Rachel came by. She didn't knock. She just stood outside the apartment, her face still. I opened the door. She handed me a package. "I figured you'd want to see this," she said. Inside, a burner phone. The one Zoe had used. Rachel had it the whole time. And on it, a series of videos. Ashley bragging. Ashley plotting. Ashley, one night, talking directly to camera. "If Travis ever finds out, I'll spin it. I always do." Rachel looked at me. She's not careful anymore. She thinks she's untouchable. I nodded. Let's fix that. I chose the gallery event. Ashley's firm was co-hosting a networking mixer with a local arts nonprofit. Wine, sculptures, PR handshakes. She would be in charge of introductions. On stage. Centered. Perfect. 2 days prior, I sent an unmarked envelope to the venue's event coordinator. Inside, a USB drive, instructions, and a prepaid phone number. The file was labeled Ashley Wolf, private interview. The instructions were clear. Play the file at 8 p.m. sharp, just after opening remarks. Offer no explanation. The prepaid phone was for emergencies only. They didn't call. That Friday night, Ashley dressed in navy. Diamond studs. Nude heels. She looked polished, flawless, really. She kissed my cheek before leaving. Wish me luck. I did. She left at 6:30. I followed at 7:10, separately, quietly. I parked a block away. Entered through the side. The gallery was packed. White walls. Polished wood floors. Hors d'oeuvres gliding past on trays. I didn't approach anyone. I didn't even make eye contact. I stood near the back, behind a half wall of sculpture pedestals. Close enough to watch. Far enough to be invisible. At 7:59, the lights dipped. Ashley walked on stage with the executive director. She smiled, hands folded, ready to give her carefully practiced speech. The screen behind her flickered. Not the brand montage she cued. Instead, a freeze frame of her face. A private apartment. Home lighting. Hair pulled back. Casual. Too casual. Her voice filled the room, projected by speakers hidden in the gallery ceiling. Ashley recorded. If Travis ever finds out, I'll spin it. I always do. The room froze. On screen, Ashley laughed. Then came Logan's voice. Then hers again. Phrases. Intentions. Strategy. The sound wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The silence did the rest. Ashley turned toward the screen slowly. She didn't move. Didn't try to speak. Then, a tremble in her jaw. A stumble back. A hand raised like she could push the sound away. People murmured. Phones came out. Someone gasped. And then, applause. Not sarcastic. Not cruel. Confused, maybe. But she heard it like a slap. She left the stage without a word. Through the side door. I didn't follow. At 8:07, I texted her one thing. Now we're even. She didn't reply. She was already calling damage control. But it was too late. Her professional life had bled in front of strangers. Her lies, elevated, looped, and broadcast. I walked to the car. Removed the gallery badge from my pocket and dropped it in the trash on the way. Clean. Quiet. Reversal complete. Ashley didn't come home that night. She texted once, around midnight. Ashley. I need time. Don't contact me. I didn't. I didn't need to. By morning, the gallery footage had leaked. Someone posted a short clip to Reddit. Then TikTok. Then it spread. No names in the original video, but that didn't matter. Someone recognized her. Then someone else. The story pieced itself together like broken glass crawling back into a mirror. By noon, her company had placed her on administrative leave pending review. By evening, Logan had deleted all his socials. 2 days later, Rachel sent me a final text. Rachel. She's calling friends. Telling them you hacked her. I replied. Me. Doesn't matter. I'm not fighting her. I'm exiting. Because I'd already filed. My attorney delivered the divorce papers that morning. Served through official channels. Included were a full asset freeze with documented breach of fidelity clause. A motion to reclaim 100% equity in the home due to contract violation. A countersuit citing reputational damage from defamatory intention, based on Zoe's texts. She didn't respond directly. But I knew when she read them. The shared calendar she forgot to disconnect updated. Meeting, Wolf vs. Wolf Preliminary Review, 10 a.m. Monday. Her name. No title. No alias. I had removed her permissions. She was now a guest. At 6:23 p.m. that Sunday, she finally showed up at the apartment. Same heels. No makeup. Pale. Her eyes were swollen, but dry. Like she was too drained to cry. She didn't come in. She stood in the hallway. I opened the door and waited. I didn't want it to end like this, she said. I didn't answer. She tried again. You could have talked to me. I did, I said. For years. Her voice cracked. It wasn't real. I was trying to protect us. No, I said calm. You were trying to protect your version of the story. You only loved me when I was listening. Not when I started seeing. She reached for something to say, some final performance. I stepped back. This place is mine now, I said. The door closes in 5 seconds. She didn't move. I shut it. Locked it. Listened to the silence for 10 more seconds. Then walked away. Monday arrived like a verdict. Ashley didn't show for the court filing review. Her attorney requested a delay. My side denied it. The judge approved our motion in full. The apartment, mine. The joint savings, divided 80/20. The investment account, frozen until the investigation into Ashley's misuse of funds through Logan's consulting work concluded. She was no longer fighting. She was flailing. By Thursday, Logan was served too. A cease and desist, plus preliminary fraud inquiry, courtesy of Rachel, who sent anonymous documentation to the IRS showing Logan had claimed design consulting deductions for payments made to Zoe. Payments linked to Ashley's card. I didn't ask her to do that. But I didn't stop her either. Julian cleaned the last piece. He scrubbed the footage from every traceable source. It still lived, backed up in encrypted drives. Legal exhibits now. But online, gone. A smear that had served its purpose and disappeared like a surgical scar. Ashley's parents called once. Left a voicemail. Calm, clipped. We didn't raise her this way. We hope you find peace. I didn't reply. Because it wasn't about peace. It was about structure. Quiet closure. No mess. No begging. No relapses. Ashley sent one final email. Subject. You win. Body. I don't even know who I am anymore. I hope you sleep well. I didn't respond. Because this wasn't a war. It was an audit. And the numbers had been off for a long time. That week, I met with HR at the clinic. I reinstated my position, on my terms. 2 days per week. Limited surgeries. Full control over my caseload. They agreed. I left the office, stopped by the lake on the drive home, and deleted every file labeled with her name. Not because I forgave her. But because she no longer mattered. The apartment is quiet now. No perfume in the hallway. No second toothbrush. The mirror doesn't fog up with her name etched into it anymore. Just glass, clear and unclaimed. I boxed the last of her things 2 weeks ago. Left them at a storage unit downtown. Sent the code to her attorney. No response. The couch still has the faint shape where she used to curl up during storms, pretending to read while watching the window like it owed her something. Funny how fast a home becomes a stage once the actor forgets her lines. Rachel disappeared after the fallout. No dramatic exit. Just silence, the respectful kind. She'd done what she came to do. Burned her end of the bridge. Let the ashes fall where they wanted. Logan's company filed for voluntary closure. Zoe moved out of the state. Word was she took a job somewhere in Phoenix. Or maybe Dallas. Doesn't matter. That version of her, the sidekick, the shadow, didn't survive the spotlight. Ashley signed the final paperwork without contest. No alimony. No appeals. No last-minute speeches. Just a signature, small and tense. My attorney sent me the confirmation at 3:17 p.m. last Friday. Divorce finalized. That night, I sat in the living room, alone, barefoot, nothing on but the streetlights spilling through the blinds. No music. No wine. No closure playlist. Just space. It wasn't peace. It was something harder. Balance. The kind that doesn't smile. The kind that doesn't need to. I got a text an hour later from a number I didn't recognize. It said, "You were never boring." No name. But I didn't need one. I smiled, not because I needed the compliment, but because it proved what I'd known all along. She was lying. About me. About everything. And now, finally, the only thing she had left to twist was silence. And even that, she no longer owned.